Well, as you can no doubt guess from the description of this video, this is going to be something really interesting. Or not, I don't know. Depends how you look at it, I suppose. Well, you're going to be obviously looking at the screen, but you know what I mean. You know, I like to have a joke in here or there. So, welcome to anyone who joins me in the live stream or wants to contribute to the conversation. Um, and thank you for anyone watching this later, of course. So, what's going on in the United Kingdom? In particular, what's going on in England? Today is the 27th of July 2024, and it's not long after we had an election and we somehow elected a Labour government, and things haven't started well. But as a side note, on a slightly lighter side, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what I want to talk about, there was a rally, a festival, a march, whatever you want to call it today, in London by thousands of people. I don't, I don't know how many, from across the UK and even from other countries, it seems, um, waving flags of, waving the United Kingdom flag, the England flag, the Welsh flag, the Scottish flag. There was a guy there playing bagpipes. There were speeches, videos, and music, and it was all relatively peaceful. The mainstream media, of course, have decided to come out and say that these were all far right, you know, idiots, or they're just far right people, really. Well, really, they were just British patriots who want to protect the culture, the heritage, the history, and of course the future of our great country and our great countries. It's amazing how the mainstream media have all has labelled all of them as a bunch of far right people, you know, including people in wheelchairs. You know, people in wheelchairs were like far right fascists these days. You know, no one did that, but you know, I mean, I suppose at worst you could call them nationalists, which means you're comparing them to an old uh, bloke who back in the day tried to lead Germany to victory with a little moustache. Apparently, we're not allowed to say his name on YouTube. His name was Adolf Hitler, by the way, and he was actually Austrian, which always made me laugh because one of the most famous things he ever said to the German people was "Germany for the Germans." Well, you look off back to Austria then. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he was a nationalist for the wrong nation because obviously he was Austrian and he was doing this in Germany, you know. But he was a nationalist, which I think really was the only good thing about him. Oh, other than the fact that he killed Hitler. Because when you think about it, he did, didn't he? Because if he really, despite all the conspiracy theories, if he really did, blow his brains out, then technically Adolf Hitler killed Adolf Hitler. But anyway, so there was a lovely, peaceful demonstration in London today, and thousands upon thousands of people turned up. And it's been widely reported on like certain YouTube channels that I'm subscribed to. I watched some of it live, and I've seen videos of it since. Um, any coverage by actual media put it all down as uh, far right British people under the leadership of EDL founder Tommy Robinson. They always like to mention that Tommy Robinson was the founder of EDL because then that makes you go, oh, that knobhead, oh yeah, the racist guy, yeah, yeah. So they still like to say EDL founder Tommy Robinson, but no, I don't think Tommy Robinson has had anything to do with the EDL for years. Mm. But apparently it was a wonderful day. So moving on from that, let's look into what else has been happening recently. Well, we've had some interesting things happen in this country over the last week, I suppose. First of all, there was an incident at Manchester Airport. Now I sound like I'm reading the news. Um, a lot of news outlets have reported on this. A lot of people have given opinions on this, and I'm going to give mine as well. There was an incident at Manchester Airport involving some foreign nationals and Manchester Airport police. The police that are permanently stationed at Manchester Airport, with guns. The main thing that people are focusing on at the moment is that one of the officers kicked one of the suspects, I suppose you call them these days, in the head. Which I will admit, I can totally agree, he should not have done. It was definitely an overreaction. Whether it will be well, I mean, I might say it's an overreaction, but the independent inquiry might say not. But I suppose we'll get the details when they come out, if we actually get the details. Well, I don't really condone that. It doesn't show the police to be good. But what everyone has forgot is everything else. Like, it seems from various reports that these particular people had caused an incident on the plane coming into the country. Police were waiting for them to possibly arrest them when they arrived at the airport. They started out by searching the individuals involved, and a violent altercation broke out. Something with regards to wanting to perform a search of the woman that was with them, which appears to be the gentleman's mother. This seemed to have provoked an altercation in which 3 police officers were punched to the ground, in which a female police officer suffered a broken nose. Now everyone's forgot this, and it's just concentrating on the officer kicking the guy in the head, which, as I say, is not a good thing to do. The police officer has been suspended from duty for the moment, and an inquiry has been started to see whether he acted correctly or incorrectly in the situation with regards to how the situation had escalated and so on and so forth, because of course these are firearms officers, and there's a sort of report, but it's not verified one way or the other to be true or not, that maybe one of the men was attempting to grab one of the police officers' guns. I don't know if that's true. I don't really know, so I can't possibly comment on that. So I suppose it will be found whether or not it was an overreaction by the police officer, or whether it was justified, or whatever. But no one's focusing on what caused the altercation in the first place, or the 3 police officers that were injured, including the one with a broken nose. Poor woman got a broken nose. I think these days attacking police officers in an airport is considered an act of terrorism, but I'm not sure. So we had that whole thing happen a couple of days ago. And then either a little more recently or a little less recently, maybe a day before or after, I believe it was Thursday, we had a riot in Leeds. Now, this riot in Leeds is an interesting story because it seems that police were called to assist social services with the removal of children from a property after a child had been admitted to hospital with a head injury, an unexplained head injury. The diagnosis of the doctor said that it came from blunt force trauma or a fall from great height, or a fall from height, basically, not fall from great height. I'm not sure what a fall from height is. I don't know how high a fall from height is. The explanation that was given by the family was that one of the older children had dropped the child. I don't think that constitutes a fall from height or blunt force trauma. Obviously, social services were very concerned, and apparently there might have been other concerns. So they went to remove the children from the home for their own safety. The family, I'm guessing, refused to cooperate, and the police were called to assist. They're to keep the peace usually, but aid in the problem essentially. Whereupon a large community of people from around the surrounding area decided to set upon the police. It seems a police car was smashed up a little bit and turned on its side. A bus was set on fire. Those large wheelie bins with four wheels, they were like dragged into the street full of rubbish and set on fire. And the whole place is apparently a massive mess, and it's all been cordoned off at the moment. And it begs the question, which is what's written in the description: right? Are we the United Kingdom, or are we the ununited kingdom? Because it seems to be that we're getting more and more to be the ununited kingdom. The four countries themselves, obviously, still relatively stick together. I don't mean that the countries are trying to separate from each other, as in like not be the United Kingdom anymore. I mean the people of the United Kingdom. Are we still united? Well, all the ones that attended the rally in London today are definitely united. And of course, there's a football team, Manchester United, and various others. So I slipped that in there as a little joke. But I don't think we are united. I think a lot of people within Britain or within the UK are united for specific reasons. But I don't think all the peoples within Britain are united. Because there are certain people within this country that have come to this country that don't want to be united. They don't want to integrate into our society. They don't want to live the way we live. They don't want to abide by our laws. And they really don't like our culture, which is interesting because they want to come over here because it's such a wonderful place, and yet they want to turn it into their country that they are running away from in the first place to get here. So our country and countries rather are so wonderful that these people don't like it. Now, a lot of people say in the comments of videos about this, well, if they don't like it, they can leave. And I suppose people can agree with that. If you don't like the country you live in the country you like. Quite certain, quite simple, really. Um, and that's the weird thing, because they come over here, right, and they know what we're like. They know what our culture is. They know what our heritage is. They know what our history is. They know our way of life. They know exactly what it is. Right? And they still come over here. And then they don't like our culture and our way of life and our values and our legal system even. And let's flip that on its head, right? Because basically these people want us, the great British public, to change to adapt to them because they don't like some of the things we do, it makes them uncomfortable or it offends them or something like that, like drinking alcohol, whatever, just because they don't do it, they don't want us to do it, and okay, fair enough. But let's turn that on its head. Let's say we moved to another country, right? Just a small amount of us, or a large amount of us even, right? And then we try to make that country, which is different from ours, adapt to our way of life because we're offended or we're made uncomfortable by some of the things they do and all that sort of stuff. They're going to turn around and tell us to fuck right off, aren't they? So why are we doing that? I just don't get it. And a lot of people are saying online that this country, or these countries rather, are basically heading for a civil war. And as much as it pains me to admit it, I think that actually might be correct, because we've been repeatedly failed in several ways, not just over the last week, but over the last couple of years, maybe even longer. Repeatedly been failed by our police forces. Um, we keep hearing this term put around on the internet, don't know whether you've heard it, two-tier policing. And you see some of that in some of the YouTube videos that are put online. You see the police basically just letting people get away with crimes, and possibly even arresting people for not committing crimes. Like there's a very prominent video of a woman, of a woman, very well, it is of a woman. There's a very prominent video online of a woman, a white woman, standing in the street, who got arrested for praying inside her own head. She wasn't saying anything, she wasn't hurting anybody, she wasn't causing any kind of disturbance to warrant police officers to even be called. She was stood silently on the street praying inside her own head, and she basically got arrested for it. Yet people can set fire to the English flag in the middle of London and totally get away with it, or try to vandalise a church or various other things. So you can understand why people go, oh yeah, two-tier policing, yeah. And of course, we've been repeatedly failed by our government. Granted, we have a new government now, Labour, which is apparently far worse, as opposed to far right. I had to slip that one in there. A lot of people online are saying we're not far right, we are just right so far, and I like that. It seems that anyone who isn't 100% completely a woke lefty liberal is far right. If you don't agree with all the policies, you are far right. If you care about this country, you are far right. Okay. Then an awful lot of people in this country must be far right. Everyone who voted reform must therefore be far right. That includes me. Oh dear. I must be far right. I don't know. I don't think I'm far right. I'm centre right politically. Sometimes I'm even centre left. I'm sure I've said it on a video before, or on a live stream. I sometimes agree with what the left says, and I sometimes agree with what the right says. Not all of what they say, and not everything they say, and not every time they say it, but I might agree with one or two things here, and I might agree with one or two things here. I'm firmly in the centre. Well, I suppose some of my views would make me far right uh, by today's definition. But it just makes me wonder what happened to this country, and what is happening to this country, and what is going to continue to happen to this country, and what is the future of this country and its people. Now, there are a lot of people out there calling for the people to rise up and fight back. If the police won't do it, we will. Or if the government won't do it, we will. Um, Not entirely sure what we will do. But I mean, I can definitely agree something needs to be done. I just don't know what. I don't know what needs to be done, and I don't know what can be done, because obviously you can get yourself in trouble, because you know white British people are always being arrested for anything in this country and across the greater UK. So I don't know what needs to be done. Well, I know what needs to be done, and the government needs to do it, and so do the police. But I mean, like the people. I don't know what the people need to do, and I don't know what the people can do, and I don't know how they can do it. But I can definitely agree something needs to be done before we actually do become the un-United Kingdom. We need to make the United Kingdom the United Kingdom once again. And I think this demonstration in London today actually was attempting to do it. Their slogan today was actually uniting the kingdom, which I thought was great. The one thing I did notice though, there were all these flags that were being flown. I saw it in the live stream footage in that. There was, as I said, there was England flags, Welsh flags, Scottish flags, United Kingdom flags, Irish flags, Northern Irish flags, Israeli flags, and so on and so forth. I didn't see a single rainbow flag there. I wonder why not. Which is ironic, really, because if we lose control of this country and it is taken over by a certain type of person that, again, no one seems to want to mention online, and I'm not going to either, just out of sheer irony and sarcasm, then those rainbow flags really cannot stay here. So those rainbow flags really should have been there today. Because what the people doing in London today was talk about wanting to protect our way of life. To protect the fact that you can be gay, lesbian, whatever the hell you like. Even if it is something ludicrous like you identify as a dog. Okay, fair enough. But these people today were wanting to protect your right to do that. But you weren't out there in support of them. So it's quite clear to see whose side you're on. The wrong side. You're always going on oh yeah, let's be on the right side of history. You're on the wrong side of history in this debate now. Really the wrong side. You need to be supporting these people. You need to be standing side by side with them, with or without your rainbow flags. Hopefully with. But it's weird how there wasn't a single rainbow flag there. Of course, it wasn't much of a surprise to me, and it probably wasn't to a lot of other people either. Those that were there and those that watched online and all that sort of thing. But there's definitely something very wrong with the UK, and it really needs sorting out. And if the Prime Minister and the government won't sort it out, or the police won't sort it out, or can't sort it out, they were chased away from the problem in Leeds, then obviously someone else has to sort it out. And if it's not the government and it's not the police, it's got to be the great British public. Well, as I say, I don't know what we can actually do because we have no real support from anyone. Because we have to support each other. Each other's what? And that's about all I have to say, because that's about all that's happened around the United Kingdom recently. At least I can't think of anything else. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you again with whatever it is I decide to record. I've got to wait 5 million years for this to stop.